The universe possessed unwritten norms of decency, etched in the blood of millennia of intergalactic war and unstable peace deals. Most sacrosanct was this: you don't shoot at a rescue convoy, whether during war or in the deepest depths of space. Under no circumstances, since those spacecraft weren't carrying soldiers or weapons, they transported medics, injured and civilians, trying to live another day. Even the most cruel species respected till Thethekai didn't. The occurrence occurred near the Tau Sini system, only 3 leaps from Earth's outer colonies. A rescue convoy of 10 Earth Federation ships, plainly designated with blue light sand. The Universal Assistance sign was en route to recover survivors from a mining disaster on Vespa 9. They weren't even in Tharkai land, not even close, but the Tharkai warships dropped like shadows, with no warning or hail, only plasma bolts blasting through metal and flesh. Out of the 10 ships, only 1 survived. The medical ship Refuge drifted silently for hours before the distress beacon reached Earth. There were no military troops on board, only screaming. President Leah Carter gazed in silence as blood floated in zero-gravity hallways. She walked to the briefing room after watching the clip twice, shouted the words that would ring through history. They fired on a rescue. Nobody communicated throughout the convoy. They sent the war fleet without any negotiations or messages. Their choice. And Earth went to war without hesitation, as Captain Jalen Cross stood on the bridge of the ESS Revenant. Humanity's newest dreadnought, powered by Earth, had never seen fusion cores that could power cities and be armed or dared to use before he watched the data transmission from Vespa 9, witnessed the wreckage of sanctuaries, sister ships, and heard the faint static of a young nurse's final message, whispering for assistance. His jaw stiffened as we smacked them hard. And first, don't stop. The crew didn't applaud. They nodded. Because this wasn't about glory. It was personal. For every Manek who died, gloves are still bleeding from saving lives. For every injured miner who never made it was returned to his offspring. For every soul who felt that mercy still meant something in our galaxy. On Earth, the word spread like wildfire. People didn't protest or discuss, and the streets were calm. The air seemed electrified. War was not just justified, it was required for humanity. We're tired of being the race that turned the other cheek. Now they would make the galaxy remembers why Earth survived every invasion, collapse, and awful extinction event. Because when humans eventually lose patience, they don't just space bowed and groaned as the Earth warfleet came from hyperspace into the outskirts of Tharkai land. It wasn't a warning shot or a scouting run. It was a frank pronouncement. We are here, and hell has come with us. The S-Revenant led the charge, accompanied by in its shadow 3 carriers, 7 destroyers, and a wave of escort corvettes, 2 troop trucks filled with elite Terran Marines, with black armor and mud, their eyes bereft of mercy. This wasn't simply about revenge. That was about sending a message in the only language the Tharkai appeared to understand. Power via Jalen Cross stood silently at the front of the bridge, peering out into the black. There were no words or speeches, simply the quiet, determined wrath of Commander Lin beside him broke their silence. Enemy patrol to clicks out frigate class. They have noticed us. Let them report it. Cross ordered without even looking. Let them know what's coming. The Tharkai frigate hesitated for a moment, second, then turned, attempting to retreat back to their nearest position. Target them, Cross instructed. Pursuit? Lin inquired. Cross finally turned his head, cold fire in his gaze. No survivors. The Revenant's forward rail cannons whirled, locked, and fired in synchronization. Metal screamed. The Tharkai spacecraft didn't even make it a full kilometer before its engines were incinerated, and the rest followed by a spectacular explosion that lighted up the edge of the system like a new star. They didn't slow down. Hours later, the first colony outpost fell. Tharkai scientists, engineers, and defenders personnel attempted to mount a defense, but Earth's forces were brutal and precise. No cities were burned, no citizens were harmed. However, every military installation, every weapons storage, every communications relay was annihilated with surgical accuracy. War of conquest was a reprimand. Meanwhile, back in the command center deep under the Earth's surface, President Carter watched live images from the Revenant with her aides. Even diplomats had gone mute, so what could they say about peace? The footage switched, revealing a Tharkai general who had broken the regulations. Terran soldiers hauled a barely breathing man from the wreckage of an orbital station. His mandibles moved, and his 4 eyes blinked. Amazement. You attacked rescue ships, one of the soldiers hissed, pushing a communicator into his breast. Though the president wants you to hear this, Carter's voice came across the speaker calmly but coldly. Did you believe we were weak because we respect life? Did you believe mercy softened us? The general coughed, blood flowing from his broken jaw. We were told humans would hesitate. Carter's tone did not change. You were informed incorrectly back. On board the Revenant, Jalen Cross stood over a hollow map of Tharkai space. 3 further colonies are marked for strike, 1 military hub, deeper in the core. Each target is designed with the same: clarify them, make them regret it, leave no question. But even as Earth's spacecraft, moving like a storm, something stirred deeper. In the Tharkai networks no one saw coming, in the dark corners of the cosmos, a desperate empire seldom suffering in silence. They scheme and prepare, and the Tharkai were not done yet. It began with an unsettling silence. The Earth fleet had eliminated 3 more outposts with merciless efficiency. No opposition, no distress calls. To some, quiet was followed by the crackle of iron storms and debris fields. Jalen Cross thought it smelled like victory. Trapped too easy. He mumbled, arms crossed and eyes fixed on the tactical. Show they're not this unorganized. Not after what we've done. Commander Lin leaned closer. You think they're drawing us in, and I believe they're waiting for. He pointed to a blinking sector deeper into Tharkai space. They've let us move too quickly and cleanly, with no pushback or desperate attacks. They're not terrified. They're stalling. That's when the first shouts came in over the comms. The ESS Valiant, the support ship in the back of the convoy, vanished from the network. 1 second it was there, then nothing. There was no explosion, no warning, and no debris left to trail. Then 2 more ships flickered out simultaneously in different zones, with no shared communications or patterns. Silent, bring all ships to red alert. Cross snapped, get my eyes on those last coordinates. The drones were already on path, and when the images came in, everyone on the bridge stopped breathing. The floating in the void were gigantic. Until now dark, angular shapes have been utterly invisible to ordinary radar. Tharkai stealth mines, the size of space stations, shrouded in cloaking technology on Earth, have not yet seen in prototype labs. Each of them emitted a gravitational field adjusted to silently destroy ship engines and warp drives. Killers, they knew we'd come, Lin murmured, scared. They planned this. Jalen's jaw clenched. This wasn't retaliation, it was bait. And the bait had succeeded. The Revenant's sensors flared up like a nightmare. Dozens of hidden Theracruisers uncloaked in a broad arc behind them, larger than anything Earth intelligence had foreseen. Heavier weaponry, better shields, and worst of all, there are no war shouts or propaganda, only an unsettling calm before Tharstorm. They want us trapped in, Lin remarked. We've pushed too far too fast. What we do best, Cross remarked coldly. We smashed the box. The next 10 minutes were a haze. Commands, countermeasures, and sacrifice. Rear corvettes were sent to break through the advancing roadblock. The Revenant turned its weapons backward, shielding the withdrawal path like a wound deadly, and refused to die lying down. Earthships unleashed everything: cluster nukes, kinetic rods, EMP bursts. Space blazed up like the core of a sun. But the Tharkai were not only fighting back, they were adapting. Their ships moved in patterns, frighteningly synced, reacting to each strike like a hive. Then came the voice. Transmission is deep, guttural, and resonating throughout every open Terran channel. You came and mistook our stillness for weakness and our patience for fear. To punish, we came to finish you. Jalan narrowed his eyes. So now Yatuk, he tapped into the fleet-wide signal. And all ships fully retreat. Fall back. Point Omega. We reorganize, recalibrate, and remind them who taught battle to the stars. As the Revenant blasted through the roadblock with systems failing, and half its escort gone, Jalan looked back with the darkness pressing in. This was no longer a clean fight. It was going to be messy, personal, and terrible, and Earth would not back down. Not after Sanctuary, not after the fallback. Omega was little more than a hollowed-out asteroid orbiting a dead planet. Star and emergency waypoint erected years ago, and forgotten by the majority of the Brasbird for now. It was the only thing keeping what was left of Earth's fleet alive. The S-Revenant docked first, trailing debris and leaking coolant like a wounded beast limping home. Its hull was burnt armor plates damaged by plasma hits, and its once sparkling behind it. The strike fleet's last 7 guns were silent. The remaining ships from the initial 21 were either gone or damaged to travel within the command chamber etched into the granite of Omega. Jalan Cross stood over the central table, eyes sunken yet burning with concentration.